Congratulations, you booked a flight with your points and you got a great deal. Now you might be wondering, is that it? Do I need to do anything else? Is the flight really confirmed? Well, here are 5 things I recommend doing right after booking a trip to make sure you dot your T's and cross your I's. That's not right, but let's get into it. So, number one is once you book your flight, you want to confirm that all the flight details are showing up where you want it to. Now, this is simple and done for you if, for instance, you booked a Southwest flight with Southwest miles, then it's going to show up on your Southwest app. Easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. But this may not automatically happen if you booked flights via a partner airline, like if you booked a Delta flight with Flying Blue miles like I did. Let me show you what I mean. So I recently booked a Delta flight using Fly Blue miles, right? And so whenever I go to my Delta account and look at my trips, I don't actually have any flights showing up. So is my flight really confirmed? And the answer is yes. And here's how you fix it. So what you do is you just go to this My Trips tab right here, and you're going to need the confirmation number or the ticket number typically in order to find the flight. So if I go to the confirmation email I got from Flying Blue whenever I book my flight, I have the booking reference number here. So let me try this code within Delta's website. So I type in the confirmation number and my name and hit enter, and voila, here's my entire flight information. So now it's on my Delta profile, and now it's going to show up on my Delta app too. So that's how you make that happen and how you confirm your flight is real with the airline you're going to fly with. And whenever I say that, I'm not very serious. It was already confirmed whenever you booked it with points. It's not like you have to do this immediately, or you don't really have to do it at all, but it just feels better, right? To have the flight information on the airline you're flying with on your app on the phone. Well, either way, this leads us to item number 2 on our list, and that is to select your seats. Again, if you booked your flight with the airline that you're flying with, like in the Southwest example, you probably already did this during the booking process. But if you're booking with a partner airline, they may or may not give you the opportunity to do so during the booking process. So what you'll do is you put in the flight confirmation number within the airline that you're flying with, like we did with Delta, and then on that screen, you should be able to select your seats and manage your booking from there. And now while we're talking about choosing seats, I'm going to give you a heads up here, and I'm seeing more and more that airlines are starting to charge for choosing their seats, and that's even for points and miles flights, and even in some carriers on business class. So if you're flying internationally or with an airline you've never flown before, don't be surprised if you do see a price to choosing your seats. I don't like it, but unfortunately that's just kind of where the world's heading these days. If you want to avoid that fee, you can either try to get status with them or see if that program has a way of getting around it. Oftentimes you can also just wait till check-in time and pick your seats from there. However, I know that's a big risk, especially if you're traveling with a significant other or with a family, etc. So just beware and look into that ahead of time. So now let's get into item number 3 on the list, and that is to make sure that you've added your frequent flyer numbers into each passenger's ticket and the known traveler numbers if you have global entry as well. I personally often rush through the booking process, and I don't want to stop to create a frequent flyer account for my wife on every random airline that we fly. So I typically come back and do this after the fact. It's a minor thing for most part, but sometimes it can be useful. You could potentially earn some extra points, and then sometimes it comes with extra benefits like internet access for in the case of Singapore Airlines. So again, you'll just go back to the website of the airline that you're flying with, put in that confirmation number, and within that My Booking page or Manage Your Booking page, you should be able to add a frequent flyer number and actually choose the award program that you want to credit this to. Because this is a bonus tip here, but if you have elite status with one airline, you can often enjoy some of those perks when flying a different airline within the same airline alliance. For example, American Airlines is part of the One World Alliance. So if you book a British Airways flight with Avios, you can usually replace your British Airways Executive Club number with your American Advantage number and receive compatible One World status benefits like priority check-in, boarding, and seat selection. But of course, this is subject to the specific fare, the route, and your status tier. Some airlines play nicer than others. It kind of just depends. And now this is not unique to American Airlines and British Airways or One World Alliance. You can do this similar thing with SkyTeam and Star Alliance if you add your frequent flyer number from a partner airline where you hold status. Now, if you're not sure which airlines belong to which alliance, you want to be sure to grab my free transfer partner guide in the description below. It lists the major alliances and their member airlines, plus a lot of other helpful information. So be sure to check that out down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe while you're down there. Now let's move on to item number 4 on the list, which honestly, you could probably do part of this process before you actually book the flight, but it's to do some research on the aircraft you're flying and the airport you're flying in and out of. Sometimes you just don't do it beforehand because there's way too much to do before you actually book a flight to begin with, such as the whole search process. But for me, whenever I'm doing this research, all I really want to know about the airport personally is what lounges are there that I might have access to. I've most recently just been using loungereview.com. It's not a beautiful website, but it gets the job done. You can see what lounges you have access to based on the premium cards you have. And if you're flying business class, you can just put in your flight information and it will tell you what lounge access that ticket gives you access to. And if you're at a large hub like Frankfurt or London Heathrow, and you've got a business class ticket that you're flying in and out of that airport from, you'll have a lot of options to choose from. So you can look to see which ones might be the most convenient for you based on where you might be flying in and out of in terms of the terminal, or which is nicer, looking up information on Lounge Review or by going to YouTube and blogs for reviews as well, depending on how type A of a person you are. Another thing you may want to look into as well, especially if you're flying business class, is what aircraft you're flying and what might be the best seats to select. So you can go back to step 2 of this video to change your seats based on what you find on this research. But here are the 2 tools that I think are pretty nice in terms of helping you figure this out. One of them I like is seatmaps.com, particularly because they link flight review blogs and YouTube videos so you can, dive a little bit deeper if you want to. And then I also like seatcompare.ai. I honestly just found it not too long ago, and I appreciate it most because it just simply gives you the answers like, oh, these are the best couples. Oh, this is best for solo travelers, for families, etc. So be sure to check that out so you don't end up at a window seat in business class and there's no window next to you. Now, number 5 is the last thing to do is set a calendar reminder to check your details again 1 to 2 weeks before your flight for any date or time changes that you might have missed. This has happened to me where I didn't realize that the date had changed an entire day until the day before the flight because the time was the exact same. Now, I like to do it 1 to 2 weeks beforehand so that way it gives you plenty of time to make those dreaded phone calls because you're likely going to have to call the partner airline that you actually booked with, not the airline that you're flying with. So there might be a little bit back and forth. In addition to the date and times of the flights, you'll also want to look at the things we talked about before. Make sure you pick your seats, known traveler number so you can get through TSA pre-check. Don't forget your wife's known traveler number on the reservation like I did once. She was pissed. Now you can chill and know you pulled off a great redemption and just hope that everything goes smooth at the airport because you've done everything you can up till now. So congratulations again. Now, if you're interested in some other tools to help finding your next redemption a little bit easier, check out this video where I rank the best award search tools available. This is Michael with Nurse Michael Travels. I'll see you in the next one.